guys, so for today's lesson we're going to go ahead and we're going to be learning how to fold origami cranes. We're going to be looking at a little bit of the history of the origami crane. So it's one of those things where origami is actually a combination of two Japanese words, ori, which means to fold, and kami, which means paper. It's believed that this was part of the Shinto religion very early on because paper was a very expensive material, and so it was a luxury good. The myth of the crane is believed that it's a bird that is long-lived, that it lived for thousands of years. It's sort of a symbol of longevity and represents good fortune. So there is this really cool idea that if you fold 1,000 cranes, someone's wish will come true, or that folding 1,000 cranes and stringing them together creates sort of a good luck charm or a good health and fortune to all those involved in the creation of these cranes. So being that this is our beginning of our year together, I want to go ahead and have you guys create as many cranes as we can, so we can create this shibeniju. I'm sure I mispronounced that. We want to see that idea of having those 1,000 cranes. Once they're created, we're going to go ahead and string them up together. They're usually stringed together 40 cranes in a string, 25 strings. If we can get 1,000, that would be amazing. One of the things I want to have you guys do today is really work on the idea of a good fortune or good wish, something that's you're looking forward to for this school year. So on mine, I've written on the back side of my paper, I wish that all my students develop perseverance and fall in love with their creative side. The most origami paper is going to have a white side and a colored side. Some of them don't. You guys are going to have this piece of paper, which is going to give you a little bit of background information on the history of origami cranes. And then we are going to have this instruction chart to help you fold the cranes. I'm going to basically go along and follow this chart as I fold my crane, giving you guys a chance to see in case some of the folds feel a little tricky. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my piece of origami paper into a diamond, and I'm going to start by folding it over to meet the corners. Now when you fold origami, you want to make sure that your folds are extremely accurate. You don't want to overlap, and you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that your creases are nice and crisp. If you need to, you can take like an edge of a pen, edge of a ruler, and you can just go ahead and crease that down. Okay, I'm going to fold it back open. And I'm going to repeat now, except for this time I'm going to bring the bottom to the top. You can see I'm really taking my time to make sure that my creases are as accurate as I can. Don't want to rush. Now, thinner paper works really well, so if you have wrapping paper, you can actually fold some really nice cranes with wrapping paper. However, wrapping paper, since it's thin, can also rip really easily. But it's a fun way to get a lot of different variety of patterns. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this back up, and you can see that I have a vertical and a horizontal crease. And I'm now going to go ahead and flip my paper over to the white side. And this time I'm going to keep my paper as a square. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, so I've got to go ahead and crease that. Fold it in half. I'm going to open it back up, and I'm going to now bring the top to the bottom and fold it in half again. All right. Okay, I'm going to open this back up so that the white side is facing up. My paper is going to be a diamond again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top and I'm going to fold it to the bottom so that we have a diamond. But instead of pushing this down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side and I'm going to push it inwards and fold it down. So see how when I push it in, the paper is starting to crease. I'm going to fold it down. So see how when I push it in, the paper is starting to crease. I fold it down, and now I have the beginnings of another diamond. I'm going to take this side, I'm going to push it down, and I'm just going to go ahead now and fold this over. Okay, the next step is I'm going to take the top flap, so just this piece, not the one underneath, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it to the center point. This is typically where I have difficulties, because if I don't get this nice and crisp, when I go later to make the head and the tail, it separates a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Make sure to get that nice and tight. All right. I'm going to go ahead and crisp that up. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this back up, but I'm going to go ahead and take the top here, and I'm going to fold the top down. Now this is going to form part of our body, so we're going to want to make sure to get this line really crisp. And we're going to open that back up. All right. Now this is the part I always get a little frustrated with. Just it gets a little tricky. So I'm going to fold this open. And what I want to do is fold it open so that it creates another long diamond. So you might have to go in there with your fingers like I am right now and just kind of helping the creases along, so that our paper, we want to make sure that our paper is touching. So you can see up here at the top, my paper is not touching, so I'm going to kind of come in here and work on getting those close together. All right, so this is going to form part of our wings here, so you can see how it's separated a little bit.
Stop separating.
All right, now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat step 4 again. So I'm going to go ahead and fold these inward. Okay, I'm going to open that back up. I'm going to fold this side down like that. And now I'm going to repeat this same step where I'm going to open this up. And I want to just gently help it fold down. All right, I'm just going to kind of go back through and make sure my creases are nice. All right, beautiful. Now I've got a little doodadder like this. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold this again. We're going to fold it inwards. We're going to really make sure we crease that. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it inwards. It looks like some of my folds down here need a little help. So I'm going to just kind of poke them a little bit. There we go. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and I'm going to repeat on the other side. So I'm going to take this corner here and I'm going to fold it inwards. And it's really tricky, but you want to make sure you can really get that fold down in the corner at the bottom here. I just find that when you're folding smaller cranes, it's a little bit more challenging. But nothing you can't do with some perseverance and hard work. So I'm going to go ahead and fold down that crease. I'm going to do the same to this side. starting to look pretty darn good. All right, so now we should have both sides of our origami paper should look like this. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our two little legs. So here's our little legs. And I'm gonna go ahead and fold up my little leg. And you really wanna crease this one as well as you can. It's hard because the paper is thick, but really get in there, get a nice crease in there. So you're gonna have one coming up like this. And then you're gonna go ahead and do the same to the other side. I'm gonna make a nice strong crease with that. Okay, we're gonna bring both of these little legs down. And now we're going to inverse our crease. So what that means is we're basically going to fold this guy like this. And we're going to fold him inwards. And so he's going to be folded up like this. And I'm going to fix this little fold right here because I can already see it wants to be problematic. I'm going to go ahead, get that little guy there like that. And I'm going to fold him back out. Whoa. What did I do? Oops, there we go. Here's his wings again. So he's in here like this. So now he's up in there, and then we're going to take and do the same thing to this back one. So I'm going to fold him in there, fold him in there. So now you've got like this. Okay, then I like to fold my wings down first. That will reveal the tail and the head inside. You want to match up the corners of your wings so they're folded at the same length. All right, and then this one right here, you can see my fold didn't fold quite as nice, so I'm going to mess with that in just a second and try to get that to fold a little nicer. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull these outwards so that they pop forward a little bit from the wings. I'm going to take the head and I'm going to go ahead and fold it downwards at an angle. And see, now we have the head of the crane. And then back here becomes the tail of the crane, and you can pull that out a little bit more if you want a little bit more poof. And there you can see now is that we have our paper crane. What we do later is we'll take a needle and thread and we'll just basically put the needle up through the bottom of the crane, up through the center, and then we can start with one big crane and we can start our stack of cranes going down from this. Alright guys, hopefully that was a helpful demonstration video on how to create a paper crane, and I hope that you will enjoy today's activity.